All right, guys, so I want to do a 1 year review on my Senville mini split. This is an 18,000 BTU wall unit. I chose the one that mounts at the floor just for looks because this is in the main part of my house. I'm going to show you a little bit how it operates. I'll go over the cost for what it cost us last year to run it both in the summer as well as in the winter. I primarily actually purchased this for heating more so than the cooling. We live in the Pennsylvania area, so it gets cold, but not too crazy cold. So it does work out very well. We even had temperatures in the about around 0 degrees in the very low digits there, and it worked well even with those temperatures. All right, so I'm going to show you now how to operate the remote and just some of the features. Actually, they had sent me this remote because when I bought it on Amazon, they sent me the wrong one. So you hit the blue button to power on, very simple. This little green light comes on there. You can actually turn that off though. I leave it on. There's various settings. Of course, up and down controls the temperature. You can control the fan speed, so it has different settings there. You can the feature I probably use the most is the timer on and off, which is really nice because this thing puts out a ton of heat. So as I said, it's an 18,000 BTU unit. Actually, I gotta recheck that. I think it's actually the 24,000. My house is approximately 1,200 square feet, about 600 on the first floor and 600 on the second floor. And we actually can heat just about the whole house with this, except when it gets down to the teens and the single digits. Then some of the upstairs rooms just don't get the heat like they need to, but I'm planning on putting in a vent which will take the heat upstairs. So as you can see, I have the unit on now and it puts out a lot of heat. Obviously you can't see the air coming out, but it puts out way more than an electric heater does. And this is also significantly more efficient. In fact, when it's not real cold out, like probably in the 40s, 50s especially, it's apparently about 5 times more efficient than a regular electric heater. I'm gonna go show you the outside unit now, and we'll talk about some of the costs. So this is the outdoor unit then. You can see the fan is running. It's a fairly good size. This is also a rather big unit, and keep in mind I use this for my entire house to heat it. It actually works out very nicely with the heat rising upstairs. The cords here and my hoses actually need to be fixed up. I was in a hurry last year when I installed it, and I never actually fixed it up this summer. So as you can see, it's decent size, but it doesn't look too bad, and the fan is very quiet. So now I'm going to go and show you some of the bills I had last year and the cost to run it. All right, guys, so I'm looking at my electric usage over the past 6 years here, so from 2017 to 2022. And the winter of 2022 is where I first started using my mini split. So as you can see here, in 2018 I used 2,280 kilowatts. Down here, 2019 was 2022, and then 2021 it was 1,653. And let's see, the next year below is going to show me here. Yeah, 2017, 1,661. Here, 2020 was 1,236. And actually, this would have been significantly higher, except we were actually away during this time of the year. So we didn't, for about half the month. So we didn't use a lot of the electrics. This would have been way up. And here is in January of 2022. So this is the very first year that we used the mini split as heat, and you can see compared to the top month it was approximately 50% less, actually more than 50% than what we used other years. And I can tell you also, we had the heat, it was warmer in the house than we probably ever kept it before. We were keeping it around the 70s or more before. We would often have it somewhere between like 65 on a low with a high of probably 68, 69, sometimes 70, but we were just using electric heat. So we saved a ton of money. as you can see, without going over each and every one of these, here we have 2022 again, still trending on the low one. 2020 was a cheap year because of being away numerous times. So I'm going to pretty much just actually take that year out for this because it really doesn't count. But as you can see, the entire time it's trending on the lower end. Now, once you get to summer, we don't run. We've always run very little air conditioning. We actually tend to be on the colder side, and my wife really doesn't like the air conditioning. So, unfortunately, I can't give you a lot of numbers in the summer. Some of these look like it's even a little higher. So that it's really not real accurate in there, just because we've never run a lot of air conditioning. And then, as you can see, coming in here to October, we're still below what we normally were. So it'll be interesting to see for this coming year where it paces. I can tell you, I'm sure it's going to be down. And what I can tell you too, going back to January and February, is that it was probably some of the coldest temperatures I can remember. Was it the coldest? Probably not. But those 2 months in general, had some extremely cold temperatures. So I can say that I can safely say I've probably saved about half the money on my electric bill. So we got a package, so I had to stop the recording. The dog started barking and going crazy. But what I was about to say is that my most expensive electric bill I've ever had while living in this house was $330. And the most expensive the bill was in 2022, this is last January, was $210. But keep in mind, it was a very cold winter, and also too, our rates have gone up. So I can safely say that I've saved a considerable amount of money. My guess would be that in approximately 3 to 4 years, I will pay for the unit. I believe I spent about $1,500 to install it. That includes the stand that I have outside. That includes all of the wire I had to purchase, as well as I had a friend finish the installing unit for me. I did all the work myself except the very end part of it. So far I'm very happy with the unit. I'm going to talk about a few other quirks in a bit, but overall I'm very satisfied. So here's the Amazon listing. This is the exact unit that I purchased. They have several other units, and I'll jump over to their website here. I was going to actually purchase through the Senville website. However, when I compared the cost with shipping and everything, it was actually cheaper to just purchase it through Amazon. I did get it faster as well. I would highly recommend this unit. My biggest negative thing I will say is that the temperature and the thermostat is poorly designed. So what I discovered is when the temperature is not real cold outside, the unit doesn't want to kick on even though it's cold in the house. And the only way to solve this is to turn the heat up. However, sometimes then it gets really warm in the house, and so I almost have to manually monitor it myself. But because of how efficient it is, it's not that big of a deal if it runs a little bit longer, and it does pump out heat very quickly. So if it gets cold and it gets cold in the house, I turn it on, it kicks heat out pretty quick. One last note I want to make is that if you purchase a unit that mounts on the wall rather than at the floor, like this one right here, you will save money. My wife actually hated the way that looked, and so we went with a floor unit. So that's one thing to note when deciding what unit you want to get. You also would want to do a calculation in your house to find out how many BTUs you're going to actually need in order to properly heat and cool the house. I do want to make a note also on their customer service. I had to call them a couple times. They were very good about picking up. If you read the reviews, they do have a few quite poor reviews. Not a lot. It seemed like most companies had a few negative reviews, and so I felt comfortable enough to go with this company. I would say if you're planning on being in your house for say 20 years, you may want to consider a better company's unit. It is possible that this unit could break down and you could potentially have issues getting parts. It's hard to say. I mean, every company has their good side and their bad side. This is an extremely well-priced unit. For what you're getting, it is an excellent price. You'll save quite a bit from going over some of the from purchasing some of the other brands. But you do have to keep in mind this is kind of an off brand. They've been around, I believe, I'm thinking 20 years now. So I did feel comfortable purchasing. But that is one thing to note. Before I go, guys, if you have any questions, something I did not cover, please comment below. I will do my best to respond as quickly as possible. I spent a lot of time researching these units as well as other mini splits, and I'm hoping that this video will be helpful to you in your research. So please comment below with questions. If you hit the like button and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. And once again, if you're looking to purchase this unit, if you don't mind clicking on that link, I will get a small commission for referring you. I would greatly appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.